Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for your patience there whilst we wait to get started with today's webinar, which is Payroll Year End in Sage Payroll 2024. Now, I have got pretty much everyone in attendance now. There's a couple more attendees due to log on, but I'm going to go through today's introduction and a bit of housekeeping, and hopefully by then the remaining few attendees will be in the meeting. So, like I said, thanks for attending today's webinar, Payroll Year End in Sage Payroll 2024. So today's session is for native cloud software, otherwise known as Sage Business Cloud Payroll. So this session today isn't for Sage Payroll MicroPay. So if you use the desktop software, in other words, if you double click on an icon on your desktop to access your payroll, then that is Sage Payroll MicroPay, which isn't covered in today's session. Whereas if you enter a web address in your web browser to access your payroll online, then that is Sage Business Cloud, and that is what we're covering off today. So if you were expecting Sage Payroll MicroPay, the desktop software, please let us know in the chat and we will give you a link to the correct webinar registration page, because they are running at the same, well, not exactly the same time, but they are currently running as well, their year-end sessions. Great, so my name is Mark and I'm a member of the Learning Solutions team here at Sage, and I will be taking you through today's session. Today's webinar will last about 20 minutes. It's a short session because of all the modernisation that's taken place with Irish payroll lately. And as I can see, pretty much everyone is now in attendance. So we'll make a start. But just before I do, there's a couple of attendees just logged in. Today's session is for desktop. If you want, today's session is for cloud online. If you're wanting desktop software, please let us know in the chat and we'll give you Sage Payroll MicroPay. We'll give you the link for their session, which is a different session. Today's is for Sage Business Cloud, which is our cloud native software. So just a quick bit of housekeeping here. I've muted everyone's lines just to stop any background noise or interference that can sometimes happen in a group meeting scenario such as this. However, that doesn't mean that you can't ask questions. You can basically pop those in the Q&A panel in your webinar, in your go-to webinar sidebar, and we'll keep an eye on that. You'll also receive a link tomorrow with a recording of today's session, and you'll probably note, please, if you want to download a copy of today's slides, I've actually included two PDFs of today's slides. One has all the links embedded that you can use, and another one is printer friendly. The black and white one is so that you don't use too much colored ink if you do want to print those off. So I've got a couple of colleagues helping me today. I've got Laura and I've got Jackie helping me today, and they'll keep an eye and answer any questions they can. And I'll come back and check in the Q&A panel towards the end of today's session, just to check everyone's been replied to. And also if there's any questions that everyone could benefit, I'll actually read those out. So let's have a look at today's agenda. So in today's agenda, we'll cover off how to complete your current tax year processing and prepare for payroll year end, including an explanation of an extra pay period or week 53. We'll show you each step of the payroll year end process to ensure you complete this confidently and on time. And we'll help you get ready to process your first pay run of the new tax year and take you through the new changes for 2025. And we'll cover any changes that you need to see for legislation as well. So today's session includes a couple of videos that highlight areas of the software that we're going to be looking at that actually go into the software and highlight any areas you need to be mindful of. And let's now look at the first of these that shows preparing for your payroll year end.
Let's look at preparing for year end and finalizing your 2024 payroll. Before completing your final pay period of 2024, you should process any current year leavers. This means any leavers with the current tax year leave date should have received their final pay and be processed as a leaver in Sage Payroll. You can mark an employee as a leaver in the Employee tab. Leaver information will be sent to ROS when you process their final pay and send your payroll submission. We have now completed 2024 leavers. Let's move on to extra pay periods. If you run a weekly, fortnightly, or 4-weekly payroll, you may have an extra pay period, also known as a week 53. You have an extra pay period if your regular pay date falls on Monday the 30th of December or Tuesday the 31st of December 2024. You should not create an extra pay period if your usual pay isn't the 30th or the 31st. Simply process your payroll as normal, continuing with your usual pay date. We have now completed extra pay periods. Let's move on to advancing holiday pay over year end. As year end falls over Christmas and New Year, it's likely that you'll have employees on holiday at this time. Whether you can use the advanced pay option or not will depend on when the holiday dates fall. You can use the advanced pay option if the advanced pay period covers any weeks up to and including week 52. For example, you are processing week 51 and advancing week 52. If you have a week 53, this should be processed separately and should not be included in an advanced holiday payment. You can't advance holiday pay over 2 tax years. For example, you can't process week 52 and advance the pay for week 1. However, if your employees are on holiday over this period and you'd like to pay them early, you can pay each holiday week separately without using the advance pay feature. If you choose to do this and you use PayPath or SEPA payment files, a payment file will be created for each week you've processed separately. Now you have learned about advancing holiday pay over year end, we'll move on to processing your final pay run of the year. Before running your year end, process your final pay of the tax year and submit this to ROS as usual. In Sage Payroll, you can check which pay runs have been completed in the Pay Runs tab. The most recent will appear at the top, and this should be the final pay run of the year. You can also check your next pay run in the Summary tab. Once you have completed all pay runs for 2024, we recommend running and reconciling your reports. First, we'd recommend running the ROS liability report, which shows a breakdown of liabilities to ROS for each reporting period. The report will run monthly or quarterly, depending on your ROS payment frequency. To run this report, click Pay Runs, then click on any pay run within the reporting tax month or quarter, and you'll see the liability report here. This can be reconciled against what you have paid to revenue. You can also reconcile this against the liability totals report, which is accessible via the reporting menu. This report will show the values for each individual pay period, whereas the ROS liability report shows you a cumulative value for the month or quarter. We have now completed the payroll year-end preparation checklist.
So to recap, you will have an extra pay period or week 53 if you run a 2-weekly or a 4-weekly payroll and your regular pay date falls on Monday the 30th of December or Tuesday the 31st of December 2024. Please note that you do not need to do anything in Sage Payroll, simply process the pay period as normal, which will be calculated in line with the revenue requirements. And I would like to point out as well that the extra 2 days shown on this slide doesn't mean that you'll only pay an extra 2 days, but it means that you'll have an extra pay period in the tax year, which has been caused by this year being a leap year. So just to give some extra clarification, you can easily see in your summary screen or in your pay calendar if you have a week 53. And you can view your pay calendar in settings, payday settings, and then view pay calendar. And again, it's important not to change your pay calendar manually in the system, as the software will automatically set the next pay date, just as it does every other pay period of the tax year, and the software automatically follows revenue guidelines. So let's now look at the 2-step payroll year-end process. I've got a pre-prepared video that just highlights the important areas to take note of.
Running your year-end in Sage Payroll is easy. From the menu, click Year End. Before starting your year-end steps, check the drop-down here is showing the correct year. Step 1 of the payroll year-end is to review your employees' pay. The purpose of this step is to check values and make any necessary corrections before the payroll year-end is completed. To get started, choose Review Employee Pay. You'll see a list of all employees paid in this tax year and their gross and net pay to date. To view more detailed information and the option to view their payslip for each pay period, click View Details. Here, you'll see a breakdown of the gross pay, net pay, and deductions for each pay period. You can export this or return to the list of employees. To return to the previous menu, click Return to Employee List. Once you have checked each employee and you're happy that everyone has been paid correctly in 2024, click Return to Year End, then select the checkbox to confirm this step is complete. Step 2 of the payroll year end is the Employee Details Statement. This report can be given to your employees to reconcile against their official Employee Details Summary provided by Revenue. To proceed, click Print Employee Statement. The report can be viewed for individuals or for everyone at once. To view the report for an individual, click Employee Details Statement. The report shows the employee year-to-date values. To export or print, choose Export to PDF. To go back, click Return to Employee List. Alternatively, you can also export all employees on one report by clicking Export All. To go back, click Return to Year End. Once you have completed both steps 1 and 2 within your Year End tab, you have completed your year end and you're ready to process in 2025.
So before I move on to the next slide, I just want to bring your attention, and please note that the Review Employee Pay report is being updated shortly, that you saw in the video, in terms of its look and simplicity. It'll still show the same information, but we're changing the look and feel just a bit, and that will update automatically in the software as soon as it's ready to go live. So now let's look at what's new in 2025. Before I go into a few notes that I want to go more in depth on, we've got a quick roundup of a few changes. Again, a video that I've put together, and we'll look at those, and then I'll go through the in-depth changes in a sec.
We'll now look at what's new for 2025. All changes to cut-off rates, tax credits, USC and any PRSI exemptions will be automatically applied in the programme on retrieval of the RPN from revenue. In 2025, minimum wage will increase to €13.50 per hour for ages 20 and above. Other bands have increased in accordance with previous years. If required, amend payment rates within the Edit Pay section of Payroll to reflect this. In 2025, if your employee is in receipt of state contributory pension, an advisory message will appear on the pay run if the employee is not on Category J1 for PRSI. This is an advisory statement only. PRSI categories will not be changed automatically for you, as there are exemptions to this. Please check with ROS if you are unsure. If your digital certificate is due to expire, you can renew this with ROS. For more information, help and guidance, please visit www.revenue.ie and search for Renew Digital Certificate.
So on the slide, I just want to go through here. You can see that employees who were born on or after the 1st of January 1958 don't automatically change the PRSI class at 66. Instead, their class changes when they turn 70 or they choose to start drawing down their state pension. And there is a new state pension contributory indicator on their revenue payroll notification. Next, we have statutory sick pay. So paid statutory sick leave was due to increase to 7 days in 2025. However, as the Department of Social Protection has yet to confirm this increase, it's not yet been included in the software. If the Minister or Department of Social Protection do confirm this, we will of course provide a software update with that automatically to reflect that change. The SSP decision won't be confirmed until the 1st of January, but once that is, it will be included in the software, obviously. And finally, auto-enrollment is a new retirement savings system for employees that will be introduced on the 30th of September 2025. Employees who are aged between 23 and 60 and earn more than €20,000 per year and do not have a pension scheme will automatically be enrolled. So contributions will be phased in over 10 years, and that will start at 1.5% of gross pay and increase to the maximum rate of 6%. For every €3 that an employee contributes, the employer will also put in 3, and the state will top that up by €1. So regarding anything to do with auto-enrollment, please keep an eye on our Help Centre for legislation updates and upcoming webinars nearer the time. And here I've included the Gov link in your handout that's included on this slide. So now let's look at further support available to you during payroll year end. So I wanted to take this opportunity to draw your attention to the Help Centre in Sage Payroll should you need any further support, as well as being able to access keyword searches in our help articles or scroll down to use the support hubs. And please note, you can always access the Help Centre when you are in Sage Payroll by clicking Help at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Also, there is a dedicated support hub for Payroll Year End you can access at sage.ie/PYE. And again, there are links in your handout included in this slide. Great, so I'm going to look now at any questions that have come up today. So please use the question panel in your go-to sidebar if you haven't already done so. And also, like I said at the beginning, in case anybody missed it, I have included 2 sets of slides today for you to download. One will have all the links embedded for you to use, such as the Payroll Year End Hub, and the other is optimized for printing should you wish to do so. So I'm going to see how my colleagues have been getting on answering any questions. I'm going to go on mute for a couple of minutes. I will come back with any questions that are being asked that I feel are valuable. So I'm just waiting for some more questions coming through here. I can see they are being answered. If you do wish to leave, thank you very much for joining today. I am keeping the session open for a couple of more minutes just to answer a few more questions that are coming through. So I can see there is a question there that's been asked regarding auto-enrollment. So for the pension auto-enrollment, will there be an option for an employee to opt out? Certainly there is an option to do that. There will be that in place. I know that question is being answered by my colleague, but from experience, I'm aware that there is an option to opt out of our current auto-enrollment. So just a reminder that you will receive a follow-up email tomorrow, which includes links to register for future webinars and to watch recordings. I am going to keep the chat and question panel open for a few more minutes whilst we answer the rest of the questions. I can see here my colleague has responded to the auto-enrollment question that we are yet to have the criteria confirmed, and we'll have more information nearer the time regarding whether your employees can opt out. But like I said, we will have further information and webinars nearer the time. Great, I will stop the broadcast for now. So thanks very much for attending, everyone, and take care. Thank you.